Bitcoin at $5,000. Some analysts are reporting that they expect that here in the very near future. We're going to look at that. Just to be clear, don't spread hate in the comments about me spreading FUD because I am not the one that's saying this. We will take a look at it though. Also want to look at what institutional investors are doing because they have been changing their tune a bit on crypto. I also want to look at some news of Elon Musk possibly adding crypto payments to Twitter and what that could mean, along with some Tesla news because it is my top holding and it obviously affects the overall market because it is one of the last growth stories that's actually growing in this bear market in terms of revenue. So we're going to look at that as well. If you don't mind staying through to the end, I think there's a lot of good information here. I'm going to not cut too much on this video because I have some appointments coming up here soon. So I apologize if there is some stuttering there or something else, but I do want to thank Tradingview. So if you've noticed in my video, sometimes I have charts up on the screen. I look at indicators. Tradingview is the best place for that. A lot of other people use Tradingview as well. If you use the link underneath the video, you can get $30 towards your plan. And when you click the link, there'll be a little pop-up here. Don't click on the pop-up because that's what you go in to get the $30. And you can pick between these different plans from 5 different indicators per chart, which is really nice. I used to have the free version. It didn't allow me to add more than, I think it was 2 or 3. And then you can do 2 charts in one window and so on. There's a lot of different features. Also a link down there to Trezor in case you want free shipping on your cold storage wallet. If you don't have cold storage at this point, at least in case your exchange goes down, I think you're making a huge mistake. So let's get cold storage ready in case another exchange goes down. And in yesterday's video, I talked about the exchange that possibly could go down next. If you want to see that video, I'll put it on the end screen. Now today we got news that Elon is going to make crypto payments a part of Twitter. So basically what happened was, it looks like, and I'm careful about this, but apparently he jumped into a Twitter Spaces, a crypto Twitter Spaces, and he said that he was going to make it easier to transact with fiat and then also with crypto. Now, the reason I'm a little bit careful of this, even though there are a lot of posts on it on Twitter, is the reason that we have seen some deep fake scams from people in the past with Elon in them. So I'm just always a little bit careful whenever I see something that doesn't look super official and maybe it sounds like the audio is a little bit off. I'm always a little bit careful that someone's trying to push something. I wouldn't be surprised if some cryptos pushed and made a deep fake of Elon saying that they're going to add their crypto to Twitter or something. So just be careful. I would say this is probably more likely to happen than not likely. We already expected it to happen. So I'm assuming this is actually real, that Elon said this, but I'm just always a little bit careful. I haven't seen too many people substantiate it as well. And there's also some people showing this, which is basically a GitHub, and it was showing some new designs for crypto on Twitter. This account then was terminated, so maybe it was Twitter that went and deleted it. Apparently, they also deleted their Indeed as well, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But after this came out, Dogecoin did pump a good amount. Now it's come down a bit, but I think there are a couple different cryptos that they would include in this. So obviously Elon likes Dogecoin a lot. I'm assuming there would be some kind of stable coin as well. And then probably Bitcoin, just because Tesla does have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So do a couple of Elon's other companies, and it's the leader in the space. So it would make sense. I think this would help overall crypto adoption. It would make it way easier to send and receive crypto. I mean, for most of us, it's pretty easy anyways, but for people that haven't really tried out crypto too much, I think it would be a lot easier just to buy it on Twitter, and it would actually give them another way of making a significant amount of money. So it does make sense for them to enable this, but it probably will take some time, and I'm sure they've already been working on it. Now, we will get to Bitcoin at $5,000 here in a minute, but we got reports today that are sending Tesla stock down. If you look at Tesla, and this is on TradingView here, you can see this is the first page, but then when you go a little bit deeper, you can see the charts. Tesla's down 5.5% here today on the news that is now being refuted. And I actually bought Tesla on this news today. I was going to buy it in the next few days as part of my DCA, but I went in early to buy it. So what is this news? Well, supposedly, Tesla is ramping down the deliveries or the actual hours that people are working in Shanghai, which is their largest plant by far. They make over half the vehicles through Shanghai. And supposedly they're cutting working time by about 20%. So they think they're going to cut deliveries by 20%. And this spread throughout all of the news channels today. However, even though some people are still reporting on this, like Reuters, still showing that they're going to cut their output plan. Now, Tesla denied these rumors. I'm not sure exactly why some news sources are still reporting on it, but they denied the rumors, and they actually came out with some really good numbers today. They actually hit record highs by about 20% from last month. They went up 20% in a month in terms of production and went up to 100,000 deliveries in China made just this last month, which is a $1.2 million run rate. In this last quarter, they said that they expected Shanghai to be somewhere above 750,000 in terms of production. Now they're at a 1.2 million run rate. This is really significant, shows that they are still gaining progress. Now, there is some fear as well because the U.S. is having some price cuts for the final month. If you take deliveries this month for a Tesla, you get $3,750, which is half of the EV tax credit that is going into effect next month. So I think that is mostly just because they're probably seeing a lot of people just canceling or trying to push back the date so that way they can get the $7,500. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I could save $7,500 by waiting a month for something, I definitely would, especially when you know it's pretty much guaranteed. So I think that overall is sending the stock down, those two different pieces of news. I think mostly it's the ramp down in production because we knew about the price cuts last week. But I bought a little bit here today just because I was going to buy already, but also I think that since Tesla refuted this, some people just haven't seen that. So some people sold on the bad news this morning, not really understanding that this was fake news. Now, of course, I could be wrong or Tesla could be lying about this, but I don't think they would lie about it. They're going to have to report on this in, a couple months anyways, and it would look really bad if they actually did wind down deliveries after refuting this or denying it to reporters. So something to be on the lookout for. I bought on that news here today. Now, some interesting news on stablecoins. We are actually seeing stablecoins being used a lot. The aggregate volume is increasing consistently. If you look here in the last few days, we had record numbers, about 30 billion. And a lot of people are just using it. It's really helpful. And again, this may be one reason why Twitter uses it. You can make some fees off of buying and selling stablecoins, obviously, from transacting with stablecoins, sending stablecoins. But it's just so much easier to use than the banking system, right? If you want to send late at night, if you want to send larger amounts of money, if you just want to send real quick and you don't want to go into the bank to wire money, we're seeing a lot of use cases for stablecoin. You can see some of these other charts as well. We have a lot of active addresses. We have a lot of the supply still here. Now the supply has come down a bit just from earlier this year, but we're still seeing a lot of it being used, a lot of stablecoin out there, a lot of active addresses. I mean, we're talking about over 100,000 active addresses for stablecoin, and then also a lot of addresses with non-zero balances, like 6 million or so. So another use case for crypto that we don't talk about too much, but we use a lot in crypto, stablecoin. We have the digital asset fund flow report. We have Bitcoin that had about 11 million worth of inflows, Ethereum $4 million of outflows, and then short Bitcoin actually 11 million of outflows. So I always take this as a positive thing. I always kind of flip this. So instead of 11 million out, I actually count that as 11 million in. So it would be like a change of 22 million essentially. So we did see inflows essentially for crypto this week. Now, it's back and forth every week. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of money moving in and out of crypto right now. You can just see the volumes going down a lot, even from earlier this year. But I think this will come back when there's more interest and more institutional interest in Bitcoin and crypto. A lot of people are just kind of waiting, seeing if we're going to hit lower lows, or seeing if the Fed U-turns, which they should be giving some indication of that here in the next, couple weeks, actually week and a half. Now, Bitcoin could plunge 70% to $5,000 according to Standard Chartered, and they predict a 2023 surprise. So why are they saying this? Well, they said in the financial market surprises of 2023, a number of possible scenarios that we feel are underpriced by the markets. They say that because of rising yields, along with a plunge in technology stocks, this could lead to an acceleration of the Bitcoin sell-off and cause further bankruptcies and collapses in the crypto world. So going down a little bit further, they say that we feel these are underpriced by the markets. Yields plunge along with technology shares, and while the Bitcoin sell-off decelerates, the damage has been done. More and more crypto firms and exchanges find themselves with insufficient liquidity, leading to further bankruptcies and collapse in investor confidence in digital assets. They say that these have a non-zero probability of occurring in the next year ahead and fall materially outside of the market consensus or our best baseline views. So this is kind of an interesting standpoint. I mean, just stay with me here for a second. They think that these are underpriced, the possible scenarios, but they think that they're non-zero. It's not that they say that they are probable. They just say that they're possible, right? They think that these could happen and they are outside of the market consensus. But let's say something has a 1% chance of happening, for example, that is outside of market consensus. People aren't banking on that to happen. So yes, if these things were to happen, obviously, if a lot of big exchanges dried up again and more liquidations happened, obviously that would hurt the market. If there was the 1% chance, the worst 1% chance of things happening, like the worst 1% chance scenario, obviously that's outside of what people are expecting. Honestly, if the worst 1% of things happened, the worst 1% outcome happened, I'd be happy if Bitcoin was only at $5,000. That's not probable. That's a 1 in 100 chance right there. So I can understand their pessimism a bit. If more crypto firms and exchanges do have an insufficient liquidity, this would lead to more and more bankruptcies and more sell-offs and liquidations. But you have to realize there would be people that came in to buy. I think we've seen a lot of liquidations already, and they think that there are some surprises that investors just aren't pricing in. But again, like we said, you don't price in 100% the 1% scenario. You give it a weighting of 1%, and that drags down the overall price that you're expecting, but you're not giving it, again, 100% chance of happening. So I would take this with a grain of salt. I understand why they're saying that they could see further drops, but 5,000 seems extreme, especially when you consider everything, all the surprises that we've seen this year, right? We have war. We have threat of nuclear war. We've had the Fed continue to raise rates at very aggressive rates that we haven't seen. We saw really high inflation that's now coming down. We've seen tech stocks laying off tons of employees and a lot of the job market kind of up in arms, a lot of fear in the job market for anyone that's being paid more. There's so many different things that have happened, including just the whole crypto market essentially crashing, and a lot of different exchanges, a lot of different companies getting liquidated and liquidating billions and billions of dollars worth of crypto. I think we've experienced a lot, and I don't think that we are going to fall another 70%. That would be really unexpected. That's something that's never happened. We've never fallen that much in a bear market. And if you believe in less and less returns each cycle, diminished returns, you also probably believe in diminished drawdowns as well. So that is just kind of my thought process on it. And they talk about how yields are continuously going up and technology shares are falling. Technology companies are falling. But I think what we've seen is a lot of technology companies have been laying off workers, and the consumer still seems strong. So it seems like they're still going to have pretty good earnings. A lot of these tech companies have fallen a lot as well. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they had a decent 2023. And yields are going to continue to go up a little bit as the Fed continues to raise rates, but that's going to become less and less prevalent as time goes on. So let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Again, check out the links to Tradingview underneath the video and to the Patreon in case you want to know what I'm buying and selling, to moomoo if you want some free shares, and then also to Trezor in case you want cold storage. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.